Today's video is brought to you by Keeps, and as you probably know, if you're getting older like me and looking at your friends, 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. The best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have some hair left. With Keeps, a licensed doctor will review your information online and recommend the right hair loss treatment plan for you. Then your treatment is shipped directly to your door every 3 months. You can continue to message your Keeps doctor 24/7 with any questions or concern you may have, and along the way you can track your progress with Keeps' progress tracking tool. Keeps is affordable and offers generic versions of FDA-approved medications for hair loss, keeping the price down for you. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/Eckharts or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/ECKHARTS. Now, on with the video. Hey guys, this is Eckhart Slaughter. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars video, and today we'll be talking about the very big, and I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do a video on this today or a video on Waru. Waru being an interdimensional being who traveled from his dimension to the Star Wars universe, so if that's something that you would like to see, let me know down in the comments section. Of course, as a kid, I was always interested in the very large Star Wars ships, and I always sort of wondered whether there was anything above the Super Star Destroyer class. So that's what we'll be looking at today. And to answer that question, sort of. There were certainly individual vessels which were larger than, say, the Executor, but could we actually qualify something as a class that was larger than a Super Star Destroyer? And if no, would it be possible to create such a thing? Well, the answer to the second question is yes. Had the Empire wanted to create a ship class larger than a Super Star Destroyer, they certainly could have, and there's actually evidence that they may have been trending in that direction. Palpatine was all about creating bigger and more powerful super weapons, weapons of pure fear, and by the time of Dark Empire, when Palpatine was resurrected, he had taken this to the next level. One thing that a lot of people don't recognize is that the Eclipse Super Star Destroyer, when created for the Dark Empire comic, was meant to be not only significantly more massive than the Executor, but also longer. Dark Empire puts the Eclipse at 10 miles long, that's 17.5 kilometers. Now, that's shorter than the modern length we have for the Executor class Super Star Destroyer, which is 19 kilometers long. However, we have to remember that the Executor actually went through some very dramatic length changes, even in the Legends continuity. So, by the early 90s, when Dark Empire comes out, a very common length for Super Star Destroyers was 5 miles. So, one could argue that Dark Empire itself envisioned a new class of Super Star Destroyers. And I mean, I've covered all of this in a prior video, but there's also evidence that Palpatine was just generally gearing up to conquer not only the Star Wars galaxy, but to conquer all galaxies within the universe. And that's why he created massive new weapons like the World Devastators. These were meant to be more and more powerful, and it's very possible that a World Devastator, given how it operated, i.e. it got more powerful by consuming matter, and it sort of snowballed in that way, could have become much larger than a Super Star Destroyer, perhaps even planetary sized or more. We also know that ships like the Sovereign, which were Super Star Destroyer sized in themselves, although never produced, were meant to be the new mainline battleship for the Dark Empire, indicating a massive scale up in size. So it's pretty obvious that had Palpatine actually went forward with his plan to conquer more galaxies, had he fully subjugated the Star Wars galaxy, he probably would have created a larger flagship, something unlike the Star Wars galaxy had ever seen. But Palpatine's ambitions for something to surpass the Super Star Destroyer can actually be seen even during the Galactic Civil War, and I think the best example of this, other than his super weapons, would be the Battle Moon. The most famous, but probably not sole existing battle moon created by Palpatine was the Eye of Palpatine. This was a ship sometimes classified as a super dreadnought because it was the length of a Super Star Destroyer, but much more massive. So the Eye of Palpatine was the length of a Super Star Destroyer, 19 kilometers long, but was shaped like an asteroid, so had a volume perhaps 5 to 10 times that of a Super Star Destroyer. Children of the Jedi really shows the pure power and and threat of a battle moon. It's treated almost like a Death Star in terms of destructive capabilities, but it has no super lasers, just a load of powerful turbo lasers controlled by a central AI. Of course, battle moons were also very dangerous because they could blend into asteroid belts and could hide in one place for a very long time, as was the case with the Eye of Palpatine. The thing that really limited ship size in the Star Wars galaxy, from a practical point of view, was the fact that the Empire's reign was so short. In canon, the two most significant construction projects undertaken by Palpatine were the Death Stars. By the time he had full control over the Senate, he was able to push through some Super Star Destroyers, according to some of my other calculations, over 50 in total. But he didn't really have full reign and control of the galaxy's resources long enough to make something larger than that. Now, of course, if we talk about Dark Empire Palpatine, as I mentioned, he may have been on his way, but again, that's the main limiting factor of the Star Wars galaxy, the fact that the one most warlike faction didn't exist for all that long. However, if we look at the Yuuzhan Vong galaxy, we can see vessels from all of the major factions that go beyond Super Star Destroyer size. As a bit of history, the Yuuzhan Vong once inhabited a galaxy full of species, but a variety of wars ended up destroying pretty much everything. One of the major wars was between two machine races, the Silentium and the Abominor. We know Abominor worked sort of like world devastators. They could consume raw material and grow in size to planetary size and above. The Silentium, on the other hand, had mechanical ships / bodies which could be over 50 kilometers, as we see in Lando Calrissian and the Star Caves of Thon Baka. The Yuuzhan Vong, on the other hand, grew their ships organically, which of course was different. Most of their world ships were about Super Star Destroyer size. Many were smaller, same with other ships they used primarily for war, but the largest Yuuzhan Vong world ships could actually be 100 plus kilometers in diameter, which of course is significantly larger than the 19 kilometer long Executor class. So to summarize, there arguably already existed several ships in the Star Wars galaxy which go beyond the Dreadnought classification. I usually call this super dreadnoughts, and I extend this designator not only to very large ships, but also the most powerful of the Dreadnought tier. I'm including the Viscount class Star Defender and the Eclipse, which are just on a whole nother level compared to other ships of similar length. So yeah, there arguably already existed super dreadnoughts in the Star Wars galaxy, but even if you disagree with me there certainly was the potential to create larger ships, and I think had Palpatine won his war against the Rebel Alliance and started to move on to other galaxies, we would have seen even more monstrously large vessels. Which makes sense, by the way, as the Yuuzhan Vong know, traveling the intergalactic void is not easy. You'd need perhaps millennia's worth of supplies. The World Devastators were created to basically set up when they reach a new galaxy and extract raw material to continue the war effort, but you'd also just need to be able to be patient, so something like a massive floating space station would be perfect. But guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, thank you so much to the sponsor of today's videos, Keeps. Check the link in the description for more. Until next time though, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.